Hey, it's Alejandra here. It's the month of February. And you know what happens in February? Valentine's Day. The month of chocolate and love and all that jazz. Yes, I thought I'd make a Valentine's Day special since I had some time on my hands. And what goes better with Valentine's Day than shipping? For those of you who don't know what shipping is, it's a term used for when you think two characters should be together in a relationship, whether platonically or romantically, although it's mostly used for romantic relationships. So yeah, that's basically what shipping is. But instead of doing like the top 10 best pairings in books, I thought I would do the top 10 worst pairings, in my opinion. Cough, cough. You know, like an anti-shipping video, if you will. Just for fun. To narrow down the list, I made a couple rules for myself. Rule number 1. Pairing has to have been from a book. Rule number 2. Pairing has to be or have been an official pairing. So that means if they got together, they're fair game even if they're broken up. Rule number 3. Only one pairing per book allowed. So I can't go and pick multiple pairings from the same book. I have to pick the one pairing I thought was the worst out of all of them. Rule number 4. I have to have read the book myself. I can't just prejudge a book because of what others might have said, either about the book or about the pairing. And of course, before we officially begin, spoiler warning, as these are pairings that officially happened, this list might contain minor spoilers on the relationship statuses of some of the pairings that happened in the book. This list is in no particular order, but for my first entry, I'd have to go with Tally and David from the Uglies. Tally betrayed them, getting David's father killed, so they have some major issues to work through. Also, they both seem to have very different priorities. Tally seemed very determined to become pretty, at least in the first book, and it wasn't until she met David that she had a change of heart and even considered not becoming pretty. Also, I think Shay, at least in the first book, you know, before she became bitter, with how outgoing she was, would have made a better fit for him. And also, Tally just seemed to move on from guy to guy to guy, and eventually it seemed in the end of the series she kind of just settled for David. I don't know if that would be the correct way to say it, but yeah, that's how it seemed to me, and that's why they are on this list. I especially can't buy the romance between them when Tally is the new girl in the Smokes and they've known each other for the least amount of time. Also, afterwards, when the smoke has disappeared and they meet again, David seems to have so easily forgiven her. Next on my list is Mia and Adam from If I Stay. Honestly, their relationship didn't seem very realistic to me, and they both seemed very insecure and unready to even be in a relationship. Although I can't blame the two as they're just in high school, but the relationship didn't seem that special as the book was trying to make it out to be. It seemed just like any other high school relationship that would only last 2 weeks. I don't know. It did seem like one of those relationships that wouldn't last long, but maybe I'm just being pessimistic. To me, it seemed more like a fascination or curiosity with each other than actual interest romantically. I don't know, maybe if they have gotten to know each other, start off as friends, then automatically diving into a romantic relationship than they did, I would have bought it. But yeah, that didn't happen with them. I just couldn't see this pairing as being in a real dynamic relationship. And spoilers, I really wasn't surprised when they broke up in the second book. Yes, I know they got back together, but yeah, wasn't surprised when they broke up. The next one on my list is Cassie and Kai from Matched. Right off the bat, I'm gonna say my opinion that I thought Alexander was a better match for her, and Cassie just seemed to be more interested in the mystery behind Kai than Kai himself. In my opinion, the relationship throughout the 3 books didn't seem dynamic or realistic. There really isn't a lot to say about this ship, which is kind of horrible since it's the main focus of the book. If anything, it just seemed like a crush. Moving on, we have Cosette and Marius from Les Mis. Okay, I don't know how to say it, so I'm just gonna spit it out. I really dislike Cosette and Marius in the book. I mean, they see each other for what, like a second, and then are automatically, completely in love? I don't know, I didn't buy it. I understand that Cosette went through all this stuff when she was younger, and I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve to have somebody to be there for her and make her happy or whatever. I don't know. This scenario just didn't seem realistic to me. And then there's Eponine also. In the play, anime, and movie, Eponine seems way more deserving of Marius's affection. And even in the book, where Eponine's kind of, I don't know, vindictive, I still don't buy Cosette and Marius. Next up is Meg and Doria from InkHeart. I mean, what the heck happened here? No offense to anybody who likes this pairing. I mean, Doria is a sweet character, but there doesn't seem to be much of a spark between them. It seems kind of wrong for Meg to end up with Doria, especially after the build-up of Faird's and Meg's relationship in the books. I mean, sure, Faird had messed up a little bit in the book, but that wasn't really a deal-breaker for a relationship. If anything, it made him a more realistic character, and they still could have worked it out. But I guess I can't change the ending to the book, so...
It's just a dream. Just a dream.
You alright?
Continuing our list, we have Hermione and Ron from Harry Potter.
That's better, isn't it? Holy cricket! You're Harry Potter! I'm Hermione Granger. And you are?
Ron Weasley.
Pleasure.
Honestly, I never really thought they had any real chemistry between them. I'm surprised that they even got together. And Ron is kind of a jerk.
Hey.
You. Complete. Hard-boiled Weasley.
Hermione definitely deserves better than him. He's made her cry countless times. And a lot of the times didn't treat her the way that she deserved to be treated. And has pulled some pretty jerkish moves.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
They get scary when they get older.
Ron, you spoiled everything!
What's this about?
Hermione seemed to always be honest with her feelings towards Ron, while Ron wanted to stubbornly be in denial about any feelings he might have had for Hermione and not want to reciprocate them.
A pugno.
Since the first book, I honestly thought Hermione and Harry were going to end up together, especially since Harry seems to have so much admiration for Hermione. I understand J.K. Rowling's hesitation at putting them together, especially since, main girl, main guy, same old, same old. But honestly, in my opinion, Harry and Hermione had a lot of chemistry together. And if J.K. Rowling wanted to avoid the same old with the main girl, main guy thing, there are a whole bunch of other characters that she could have paired up Hermione with. Just off the top of my head, there are a couple people Hermione could have ended up with, and it wouldn't have to be Harry. First off is Victor Crumb, the guy that she went to the Yule Ball with. Secondly, she could have also ended up with Fred, one of the twins. I understand that J.K. Rowling even thought about putting them together as a pairing, and that honestly would have been very interesting to see the dynamics of that relationship, especially if Ron was still in denial about his feelings for Hermione and Hermione was moving on to somebody else.
Well, that's just completely off the point.
Even Draco and Hermione could have been a very interesting couple that could have happened in the book. I could go on dissecting this relationship, and I probably will in another video, but for now, I digress. Moving on, we have Clara and Jace from City of Bones. I didn't really buy them as a realistic relationship or that they would actually be interested in each other as a couple. At least to me, it just didn't seem like they clicked. I don't know, the relationship just seemed very dull to me and lackluster. Maybe it's because they get so overshadowed by the other pairings in the book that I thought had better chemistry with each other. Also, the whole "he might be your brother" thing kind of discouraged me from shipping him.
Finally, both my children together. My daughter and my son.
Spoiler, yes, I know they're not real brother and sister. It was just a lie, but I just couldn't get over it, okay? Next on my list is actually a married couple, Daisy and Tom Buchanan. One of the most realistic couples on this list. But that doesn't stop me from hating them. They both just treat each other horribly, along with the fact that they're both cheating on each other. She obviously married him for the money, and when her old love comes back, she's very quick to go back to him. Although I really can't blame her with the history that her and Gatsby share.
Gatsby was sent off to war. When the war ended, Daisy waited, but for some unknown reason, Gatsby couldn't return. A year later, Tom Buchanan of Chicago swept in and stole her away. He gave her a string of pearls worth $350,000.
She's a married woman now. Her husband, though, could really be considered worse, being a complete hypocrite, along with being a vindictive liar to get the other guy killed. Alright, next is Charlie and Mary Elizabeth from Perks of Being a Wallflower. I'm gonna be honest here and say, in the Perks of Being a Wallflower, the author kind of explores the idea of different types of relationships, and there were some really bad ones. My rules, of course, only allow me to pick one. But the reason I picked this couple out of all of them is because this pairing really shouldn't have even happened. It's a very one-sided, abusive relationship. In the book, Mary Elizabeth likes Charlie, but he's so infatuated with Sam that he shouldn't have even gone out with Mary Elizabeth. I personally think it's stupid to consider going out with someone you're not even remotely attracted to. It's just gonna hurt both of them.
Mary Elizabeth, I'm so sorry.
Not saying that a relationship where both individuals are infatuated with each other is a perfect relationship, or always good. Just look at Romeo and Juliet. Speaking of Romeo and Juliet, let's give a round of applause for my final entry on this list. Romeo and Juliet from Romeo and Juliet. Honestly, this is one of the most over-exaggerated love stories of today. I understand the historical aspect of it and how it was a huge impact on writing at the time. But this definitely wasn't a love story, but infatuation. I mean, in the beginning, Romeo was so in love with this other girl. But after he sees Juliet, he completely forgets this other girl and, I don't know, suddenly is in love with Juliet. I've read the play, I had to read it in high school, and I've seen the movies, and no real rendition of Romeo and Juliet really has made me believe that they should have ended up together. Okay, maybe one, but that's 1 out of 100, and that's beside the point. Alright, time for some dishonorable mentions. Edward and Bella from Twilight, because that would have been too easy and predictable. Ethan and Lena from Beautiful Creatures. Didn't see the attraction, and overall the relationship seemed dull. Thomas and Teresa from The Maze Runner. There was no chemistry, nothing really going on with this couple. Don't even know if they were really together, although it was kind of implied, so that's the only reason that they weren't in my list. Jeb and Alyssa from Splintered. Jeb seems very controlling over Alyssa. He seems to need to know everything that Alyssa is doing, acting more like a father than anything else. So yeah, I know I don't do videos like this a lot. It was kind of a long video, but let me know your guys' opinions down below. if you agree with my pairings, disagree, if you think I should do more lists like this just for fun. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, bye!